So I welcome everyone on this webinar come seminar. I'm sure that before me, a lot of people have already talked about what plastics are, what plastic pollution is, and how it's detrimental to the environment and to the society. But I still thought that it's always important to go through some of the facts and to sort of set the stage. The topic today that we have and I've been given is I will be presenting the core interventions of WWF Pakistan and globally what we're doing in regards to plastics. So as you can see the screen itself, you can see that almost 700 species, marine species, are to be impacted by ingestion and entanglement. And by the way, I can actually give you like a couple of facts. So 100% of sea turtle species show evidence of plastic ingestion or entanglement. Now, this is something very, very important because in Pakistan, WWF's marine team and the fishermen that we work with, they all almost complain every now and then that, they have found a turtle that has been entangled and they sort of release it. We give them certain trainings in order to release these turtles and other kinds of fish like shark tail fish back into the sea, but sometimes they're badly damaged and hurt, and sometimes they're completely dead because they have sort of fed on polyethylene bags, which is the plastic bag that we use and we throw very conveniently in the drains and everywhere, and it floats around and ends up in the oceans. About 75% leakage into the ocean comes from the uncollected waste. Now you can see this is like a picture from India. Unfortunately, the dilemma is that there's not proper waste collection for our country specifically. There are very few contractors. I being in Lahore, I know that it's been a very difficult ride for the Lahore Waste Management Company to have the contracts with Ozpark and Al Barak, and now those contracts are over. Now they're looking for other partners. So there's a lot of lack of resource as well, because if there is proper waste collection, waste management system, I think there would be lesser of leakages of plastics and other kinds of solid waste into the oceans. So I'll, without any delay, I would get on to the projects that WWF Pakistan has been doing on. Of course, it is important. I mean, I don't have to give you, theories and numbers and stats. I think these pictures, I thought that these pictures would be self-explanatory, because this is the Leari Nala on the bottom left corner. Then you can see the coast, you can see waste being burnt, releasing dioxins and furans. And this picture is from Jheel Saif al Malook. And I was actually surprised when we were doing one of the studies. We went to Naran and Jheel Saif al Malook, and this is like a pit. They put all the waste there and then they burn it right next to the beautiful lake itself. So this is a torture. This is a torture to the nature and to the humans there as well. So the first project that I would like to mention is our collaboration with the Coca-Cola Foundation. We did this project on the estimation of plastic bottles, the PET bottles you have, water and for sodas. So it was based in 10 cities in Pakistan. And the idea was to not only estimate how much PET bottle is being recycled, but also to estimate how much is being leaked into the ocean and other parts where it is recycled informally. And also to create awareness amongst the general public, academia, and the corporate sector about the importance of recycling and recovery of plastics. The cities that we covered were Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, Murree, Peshawar, Faisalabad, etc. Then we had Tetra Pak. This is like a 10-year-long study in which what we have done is that we estimate the use of Tetra Pak carton from different cities. We have covered almost 12 to 15 cities of Pakistan, which are big and small both. We included the tourist hotspots recently. Naran and Murree were a part of it. And I was actually astonished to see the amount of Nestle's milk pack and Angros Alpers boxes in Murree and Naran specifically, because it is, when we go at a tourist hotspot, it's always you want coffee and hot chocolate and tea. So there's a lot of usage as compared to a normal city like Sargodha or Sialkot, the consumption was much higher and the generation was much higher too. And Tetra Pak carton is also recyclable, by the way. Although it is a composite material, it has 4 different layers in it, and it also has polyethylene. So there is plastic in it and aluminium. So companies like GER, Green Earth Recycling, they are at the moment collecting PET as well and a Tetra Pak and making wooden benches, which is made by plastic wood. So they are also recycling, one of the biggest recyclers with a state-of-art plant in Lahore. The third study is a UNESCO. This is one of a kind study, and I think this was a pilot that we wanted to conduct, and UNESCO very generously funded this project. Is there a question? Sorry. Okay, so this was the baseline assessment of Ayubia National Park and Islamabad. We zoned out the entire city so that we don't miss out a single area. And we did sampling of all kinds of plastics. And the results were amazing because we found out that HDP and PET and LDP, they were the top most generated kind of plastic waste in these 2 cities, and therefore it also established the grounds for the junk dealers and for the recyclers to actually understand that these are the kind of plastics which are being generated mostly in these 2 countries, and the waste designed by according to these different categories of waste. Then we had WWF launched the first pilot plastic recovery facility in 2019 in collaboration with Coca-Cola and other partners. And this was a month-long activity whereby we used citizen science to engage citizens to recover as many PET bottles as possible through social media engagement, through live engagements. This whole activity was held for 10 days in 3 different prominent malls of Lahore, like Fortress Mall, Packages Mall, and Emporium. There was a grand launch and a closing for that, and we were able to collect 4,000 plastic bottles in a span of 30 days. This was a pilot, but such material recovery facilities need to be established all over the country. And I think for those, it's very important, and initially we have to incentivize, but in the longer run, people have to, make a change in their behavior. The second most important intervention was the Green Innovation Challenge, in which we partnered with the UN Clean Seas and JS Bank, and we launched this program. This was a competition, and it was launched in 2018. We asked for submissions for innovative ideas for plastic recovery and recycling, specifically ocean plastics. And what we got was about 120 submissions from different parts of the country, from different universities. They were incubation centers for the shortlisted teams. And the finalists were asked to present their ideas. And then the final winner was ACF, which is Aisha Chundrigar Foundation, which recovered ocean plastics, marine plastics like ghost gears and other plastic objects, and they were making bracelets out of it, dog leashes and other sellable elements and things. Then we had the Panda Challenge. Now this is with the school kids. What we do is we wanted to collect as much waste as possible with Coca-Cola. As you know, that Coke has a huge footprint in terms of plastics globally. So they wanted to work a lot towards the recovery of plastics. They're also working on reducing the kind of and amount of polymer that has been put in the plastic bottle, just like Nestle. Other interventions that WWF has done, we have done a lot of baselines that I've already mentioned. We also developed manuals on medical waste and municipal solid waste back in 98 and 92. We do a lot of cleanup drives. So we do coastal cleanups and we do hill station cleanups as well. And like, Margala Hills as well, with the various tracks over there. So we do that. Then WWF organized a WWF Refest, which was a food fest, but at the same time, we wanted all the food waste left over and all the plastics to be recycled. We partnered with Waste Busters and other waste collectors and recyclers to have that place cleaned up before the event ended. And we were able to recycle a huge amount of plastics and collect a lot of food waste as well through that event. WWF has recently, as a founding member of CORE, which I've mentioned. CORE is Collect and Recycle. This is a coalition between the major plastic producers like Nestle, Coca-Cola, Tetra Pak, Pepsi, some local packaging companies like Spell Packaging, Packages Pakistan Limited, and GER. And WWF being an NGO. So the aim of this coalition is to have a joint pool which aims towards plastic circularity, which aims towards collection ideas, and to also fund ideas that are focused towards plastic recovery and recycling. WWF launched the ecotourism program, which also focuses on the reduction of single-use plastics in the tourist hotspots. And we launched it last year in September in Gilgit. I would like to sort of give you an insight into what our vision, our global mission is towards plastics. So there's a vision for no plastics in nature. What we want to do is we want to work very closely with business, and we are, to actually eliminate unnecessary plastics. So firstly, you reduce the plastic, increase the recovery where possible. So through citizens engagement and corporate partnerships, we aim to sort of recover as much plastics as possible. And of course, shift to alternate sources, like sustainable sources. Then we have, we want to, build plastic smart cities. And in order to build those plastic smart cities, we have to address the waste management system at a city level as well. We need to pilot solutions. We need to showcase that we are committed in order to do that and close the loop, because, there's no circularity at the moment. There are informal sectors, scavengers involved in it, and it becomes very difficult to sort of recover plastics through a formal chain. So they're just bits and pieces. It's a little fragmented system at the moment. And of course, there's a huge burden on the producers, because there's we do understand that there's an extended producer responsibility term that we use, and but at the same time, it's easier said than done, because it's not very easy even for the producer to track down where the products are going when they're used and disposed of. But I think we need to sort of establish that mapping system, that tracking system, in order to close the loop. WWF has been playing a very vital role in setting the stage for developing a legally binding treaty for declaring plastic as a substance that should be, minimized. There should be certain national level standards, national level targets that every country should set. We have been presenting our recommendations through different countries, and WWF Germany and WWF Norway have been leading it. You can also visit our website, the Global Plastic Navigator, which also gives you an idea as to which parts of the country, which parts of the world are having floating plastics at the most, and which are the countries who are supporting this legally binding treaty paper. It has also been presented at various United Nations General Assemblies. And in the upcoming UNEA 5, which is going to be held in September, we hope that we get the backing from more than 100 countries. At the moment, we have, the number of countries supporting this legally binding treaty is less than 100. So we hope that we get to, the number is higher, and we get to that next level to have this approved by the UN. So I think in Pakistan, this is, I'm sure everybody knows that, I've just put this diagram so you can, leave the pet part. Just imagine that it is plastic, because this was a graphic that was is mentioned in one of our reports. Plastic generation is approximately 5.5 kg, by the way, per capita in Pakistan. And it is, although very low as compared to the global levels, but at the same time, the management is not there. So therefore, there's a huge menace of plastics. as I already mentioned, that there's a lot of intervention of informal sector, and the formal sector has to sort of step up and to formalize the informal sector in it. So you see these pictures, there's a lot of child involved in it. And unfortunately, there's a middle tier, which is the junk dealers, in good terms. So, and I think that it's not only the formal sector and the collector who have to learn and to understand and to change their behavior, but it's also us as consumers. So the plastic system is, of course, fragmented. It's not really completely broken. Of course, there are leakages, as I said, and the leakages exist all across the country at all different stages of recycling. So, and I think it's not only for plastics only, it's for all kinds of recyclables, I would say. And I think it's the responsibility of everyone. It's the policymakers, the government, the private sector, the society in general also, because I think we can't really say, eliminate the system and begin with a new system. You can't do that. But I think, as the Japanese quote says, that repairing by mending the areas of breakage, that's very important. Fill it with gold, fill it with the right people and the right technologies and strategies, and it's going to take you at a better stage. If you can see, this is a picture from it's showing you like the right picture. It has a lot of polyethylene bags. So single-use plastics, which mostly consists of the plastic bags, is causing a huge issue because it's only used for 30 to 40 seconds to 3 minutes. And unfortunately, we don't have much alternatives in Pakistan at the moment, because there's no waterproof alternate of plastic bag at the moment. We do have plastic bag and cloth bags, but they're not really an alternate for plastic bags. Also, I think there's a lot of funding that is also required, not only from the producers, but also from the international donor aid agencies, which, organizations like us and a few other working in Pakistan, like GIZ and FAO, they are the ones who are trying to sort of strategize, develop proposals for piloting solutions like these. So at the end, I would just close it by, putting what WWF's mission or vision is to make cities plastic free, is that there has to be an integrated waste system. I mean, all the students who might be hearing me out might have studied, solid waste management, integrated solid waste management system, etc., plastic recycling, all these jargons. But at the same time, the government needs to sort of set the stage and lay the path out as well. And there's a dire need for plastic recovery and recycling, because you can only recycle if you recover, and recovery has to be in a formal way. We should also focus on our national parks and public spaces and coastlines. These are important places where a lot of waste and single-use plastic waste is generated. So these are the areas which we need to focus on. And when I talked about making the informal sector into the formal, so I think this is through creating a community-based, centralized place for plastic waste collection. So that, and of course, without mass awareness and general awareness, you can't achieve any of the above. So thank you so much for listening patiently. And this would be my last slide. Thank you so much.
Say no!